You pick Lycan.
Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're going to check out why Ramzes is trying offlane Lycan out. Offlane Lycan is not a completely new thing. Back when Lycan was beyond broken, the hero was so good that it could work anywhere. But what brings him back?
Quality memes!
Well, being a carry player transitioning to offlane, Ramzes definitely has a different perspective on how the role works, and combine that with the new Aghs and some other changes we're going to talk about, I can see why someone would test the hero. When the changes to the Aghs were introduced, I tested it on my own stream. You should check it out, by the way, but I didn't build or play the hero like Ramzes did. The reason for this hero to be good is when tier 2s are down, one fight that is won can mean the end of the game for your opponent or a lot of buybacks being spent. Either way, it's really good. In this game, the goal difference between Radiant and Dire was 1k at 15 minutes. 4 minutes later, they were taking Rex. Another reason that pushed Lycan towards being a better offlaner is the cooldown reduction on his ult. You might think that it's a minor change, but offlaners are in general heroes that have to be active, and this hero with just level 6 and Helm of the Dominator becomes a monster. Watch this clip from another game Ramzes played. He died twice in his lane, he got pressured quite a bit, but watch what happens when he finds the Centaur. Ramzes, as soon as he sees that the troll was trying to farm it, he ignores the creep wave, rushes to the camp, and just ults. The reason why you skip boots in this until level 6 is that it's just wasted money. What you want is that your ult provides a kill, so you can create space and you can buy time for your team. Helm of the Dominator helps in that regard 9,000 times more than boots. With the ult being lower cooldown, as long as you finish your Helm of the Dominator, you are a force to be reckoned with and you are able to create space with the hero. Just watch what happens after that kill. Cop eventually shows, but she gets smashed because of the center, and the tower quickly falls. One thing to talk about is Basilius. This item makes a lot of sense on Lycan. He's all about pushing, so the AoE armor is nice, and he's surprisingly mana hungry, so having that item really helps you out. But note that you're rarely going to upgrade it to Vlad's, at least not before finishing your Necro 3. The reason Necro 3 is so good on Lycan is easy. All of your spells are related to having more units, and you scale insanely well because of it. The lifesteal on Vlad's is a waste. Since you already have a ton of HP regen, this hero pushes waves really well, and while he might lack a stun, similarly to a hero like Darkseer, he can constantly force heroes to be on one side of the map while fighting the other one with numbers advantage in his ult. The fact that he has insane move speed gives him the mobility to reach from, let's say, bottom to mid or mid to top, and in this case, since a fight is happening top, he can dive the Grimstroke bottom with no worries. If you pay attention in the footage and the lane bottom, you're going to see that for the most part, bottom was pushing heavily, while Lycan was able to farm the jungle and then fight mid. One reason for most players skipping How is quite simple. The cooldown is huge, it's not that great in lane, and when you get level 6, you just want to have as much damage in ult form as possible. Your wolves already attack really fast, so maxing the wolves or your passive helps way more with damage than the W early on. Also, you have to remember that this hero has terrible mana pool, and while 25 mana might seem small, as an offlane Lycan that doesn't farm a whole lot, so you're not gonna have treads, you get your levels lower, it does make a difference. But note that every single game that Ramzes plays, he skips the level 10 talent for How. As you get the Helm of the Dominator, Necronomicon, you have more units that benefit from attack speed, and they all crit when you ult. So the value of that spell grows, and it's higher than the 20 damage only for Lycan. In fact, I don't remember saying this in this channel, but you can learn a level 15 talent before the level 10 one. And Ramzes does that every single game, getting the cooldown reduction, and then either the damage or the armor depending on the game. One thing to note as Lycan is that when you fight, regardless of you using your Necro and Wolves before ulting, you will always have them moving at max move speed. But that is not true for How, so make sure to already have all your units summoned, or you might be losing DPS when you try to engage. One item that I think very few players, at least low MMR ones, build on Lycan is Pipe. In this game, Ramzes struggled to have his units doing damage because they were just dying to the magic damage, but look what happens when the Pipe's completed. His team died top, and so the move right now is to force Radiant back, or they might have to buy back, lose structures, or Roshan. Co-op not only struggles immensely with dealing with the army, but by staying nearby and ulted, Ramzes guarantees he will be able to disengage if Radiant comes to him, whilst he offers the auras from Basi and Helm of the Dominator, getting a tower. People still think that the Lycan Aghs is a meme, but in actuality, it's a great item. If you're not paying attention, you barely feel the difference, but just watch this fight. Ramzes dies, and Radiant starts going for Roshan, and he's forced to buy back. This is how the lanes were before Ramzes bought back. Without the Aghs, the Wolf's top wouldn't push that lane, but this was a really long engagement. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that Aghs works when Lycan is dead as well? Meaning mid is pushing, now bottom has Wolves as well. After all is said and done, and Gyro dies back, Radiant cannot push. and when Quap goes bottom to the push and later use the throw Aegis, he is able to kill her. Without Ags, they would have lost lane of barracks. Instead, they still have tier 2s up and Quap is dead. This item is really good. The being dead part summoning wolves is ridiculous, honestly. If they ever nerf the item, I think that is one thing they can try and fix. And you know, Gyro later in the game dies without buyback, finally giving Radiant their first lane of barracks, but watch how the lanes are after the push. Bottom is really pushed, forcing Radiant back. Then, you add the fact that Golem, Epicenter, throws BKB, everything is down. So instead of retreating from the top push, which they would get, and then go directly towards Roshan, Radiant is forced to address bottom, giving Ramzes' team the Aegis. That's not all. The throw goes on the Lycan because he knows Ramzes has no buyback, and even though he lives, he's forced to fight with very low HP. He looks really grim at first. But look where bottom is. The throw is forced to TP bottom to defend. Warlock spent all of his strength in this fight when the eggs forces Radiant to split, and the game is quickly over after this fight. I think one part of Lycan being really good at the moment is the change of his crit being pseudo-random. Since it's more reliable, your ult plus Helm of the Dominator plus Wolf damage can get kills with more ease, and we see a PL being munched down in seconds in this other replay. When you pair that change with the ult being lower cooldown, it allows even offlane Lycan to snowball with it. Since you take down the tower and farm really fast, you starve one enemy corp from a lot of gold, since anyone that comes here when ult is ready becomes a target, and ult is ready more often now. This is the mid-Kunkka from the enemy team, and regardless of that, Ramzes can dive and kill him. Another thing to add to that is that because of the cooldown reduction on the ult, you're also harder to be ganked. When Dire engages on Ramzes here, he lives by the skin of his teeth. Combine that with your natural insane pushing power, and not only they kill Kunkka, wasting Bolt and Lasso, they can push, knowing for sure there's no reaction. The beauty of Lycan is that at any point in the game, he is a threat to building, so you just have to win 1 or 2 fights. In this game, they go high ground with 1000 gold advantage. The pushing power of this hero is out of this world, and while you might be impressed with the PL Ultra Kill, the Nake survives, they force buybacks, they took the tier 3 tower, and Glyph is down, and they win the game in a couple of minutes. But you know what? Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to his laning stage, because that's probably the biggest difference between Safe and offlane Lycan, since they played the mid-game almost the same way. So why can be Lycan a good laner? First of all, he has a combined 110 damage for last hits and denies a level 1. Just make sure that he can get a level advantage and get way more creeps than some other offlaners. With his passive, he also has even more damage for the wolves than himself and very good HP regen, and that's all an offlaner really needs. While Lycan likes a stun, he does have the wolves to block people, and since they are fast, they synergize well with heroes like Dazzle and Grimstroke because you can inkswell the wolves. That's not to say this hero always feels amazing in the lane. Ramzes messes up his salve in this game, and he ends up dying. Some carries are great at contesting Lycan's wolf, so getting used to denying the low HP ones is a good tip to not give the enemy safe laner an edge in the early game. The first item Ramzes bought every game was the Ring of Health, since all your hero cares about is getting experience to level 6. His level 6 is really important and powerful, and to start pressuring, you need to get there ASAP, preferably before the enemy carry gets 6. This was not the case in this game, but because Troll wastes his ult, Ramzes can get a kill him later, as we saw before. In this other lane, we can see how the hero combination allowed Ramzes to win the lane harder. Dazzle combos really well with Lycan and make sure your hero actually feels strong in the laning stage. The one exception for first item purchase on Lycan being Ring of Health, besides obviously the Quelling Blade, is a stick. In this game, Batrider eventually rotates to the lane and Ramzes grabs one in the side shop, but very specific to, a couple of heroes. And because Ramzes wins the lane, he gets level 6 before the PL, which quickly allows him to identify and kill the real one. You know what else sets Lycan apart from other offlane heroes? In fact, it's something that makes him really decent at offlaning. You can mess with the enemy creep wave whilst being in experience range. Legion is a hero that lanes pretty well versus Lycan. The wolves also set up for a better overwhelming odds, meaning in this game, Ramzes, at least at level 1, focus more on messing with the creeps whilst blocking the small camp, meaning the enemy support cannot do anything to deal with it. Ramzes didn't watch for the wolf in time, forcing Crit to do it, but the idea here is clear and works really well in some games. The end result is a really easy creep equilibrium from Ramzes while the Willow watches. Because of this hero's sustain, look at the play Ramzes pulls off seconds after. Crit was forced to go back, and Dire decided to dive Ramzes. Watch how he hides in the fog, summons the wolf to break the bramble so he can keep moving, goes back to the tower, farms creeps, and now the hunter becomes the prey, Willow dies, and Legion is forced to TP back. So, this hero is actually really annoying, has a lot of sustain, and maybe you should try it out. Guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to this video. As you all know, I have a Patreon goal of 100 patrons, so I can hire an editor to create more videos, more content, stream and cast. I also have a goal of 50 subs on Twitch to get sub games, so if you guys are interested in that, please make sure to join my stream. And yeah, that's it guys. Thank you a lot. Have a good one and, enjoy some offlane Lycan if you can.